Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here. I want to talk to you about why Wall Street hates silver. With everything that happened with GameStop stock recently, I think it's now clear that a lot of people are waking up to how our current financial system is not set up with their best interests at heart. It seemed like public opinion was firmly on the side of the little guy who was trying to stick it to big finance and the speculative hedge funds that were shorting GameStop. And I mean, it really did make a great story how they were doing it with such an obscure vehicle as GameStop stock. And I'm sure that there are those on Wall Street that hate GameStop stock because of what happened with it, because they got out-traded, and some of them had to cover shorts for big losses, and they're used to beating the little guy and skimming away wealth from the markets for themselves, but this time they got beat at their own game. But they hate silver for a very different reason. Why don't they hate corn or soybeans or nickel or some other commodity? And for that matter, why did the SilverSqueeze crowd move from GameStop stock directly to silver as their next target? Why silver, right? Seems kind of arbitrary. Well, I think they were onto something. And it's because silver is real money. It's hard, tangible money. And it's honest money. And Wall Street, if they hate anything, it's honest money. It represents the opposite of what dishonest big finance is all about. Silver has always been the honest money of choice among common people. Gold was always hoarded by kings and later by central banks. And that's interesting when you think about it, isn't it? But silver coins are just about right for people going about their daily lives. In mythology, silver is portrayed as a weapon against creatures that feed on the common people. Think of vampires and werewolves. They hate silver. In fact, it's one of the few things that can be used to protect against them. Look, that's not a coincidence, okay? It's because humans know in our archetypal, ancestral, genetic memory that silver is real, honest money, real treasure that can be trusted. I mean, look at our coins today. They're made of copper. Why do we put the silvery nickel layer on the outside? It's because humans know that silver is money. And if you want them to use fiat-clad coins, you better at least make them look like the real thing. And look, guys, I know I mentioned that silver coins are the right size for day-to-day transactions. I'm not advocating that we revert to using silver coins for commerce today, although it might come to that depending on what happens. I'm speaking about money historically. Today, with the right technology, I think it's at least possible that we could have a fully functioning electronic monetary system with credit cards and everything that we enjoy now, and still have honest money backed by silver. The trick is just ensuring with audits or maybe a competitive marketplace or whatever that the silver is actually in place and readily convertible. And real quick, guys, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps spread the information and I really appreciate it. So, from a nuts and bolts standpoint, what is it about silver as money that Wall Street hates so much? Part of the answer has to do with inflation and deflation. If you have honest money like silver, as productivity increases in the economy, the supply of money may not be able to keep up. This means that the value of money increases because the supply of available money has not changed, but the available pool of goods and services for which it can be exchanged has increased. This is a form of deflation. Asset prices fall as it takes fewer units of the now more valuable currency to purchase them. Wall Street and big banks have us convinced that deflation is this horrible economic phenomenon that must be avoided at all cost, and that what we really need all the time is more inflation, basically more fiat currency creation. Look, deflation isn't something that has to be avoided at all cost. If you're a working person, either poor or in the middle class, deflation can be helpful. It means that the value of the wages you earn go up and that your cost of living falls. It also means that if you've managed to save some money, that the value of your savings goes up and you are rewarded for delaying your consumption with increased purchasing power. If you have a lot of debt rather than savings, deflation can't be harmful because your debt has increased in value as well. Wall Street is all about using debt to buy up assets. Easy money and fiat currency allow them to borrow to buy up assets, and then inflation eliminates the value of their debt, as they can pay it back with devalued currency. And who else do we know that has a lot of debt? Think about that one for just a moment. And really, inflation is great for the wealthy in Wall Street. If you own a huge stock portfolio or own a bunch of real estate, what happens when inflation goes up? You get richer. Asset price appreciation, the so-called wealth effect, is fantastic for the wealthy. And what do they care if the food that they purchase costs more? Such a small percentage of their income goes to their day-to-day living expenses that they could care less if prices at the grocery store double or triple. It doesn't matter to them. And that is one reason why Wall Street hates silver. If silver is money, they can't inflate these massive asset bubbles and transfer all the wealth to themselves. And here's one more reason. When these big financial institutions are out there in these markets with all this easy money and they're slinging around trillions of dollars in some derivative product that they cooked up and they're getting rich from moving numbers around in a computer with a high-frequency algorithm, what happens when they make a mistake? In 2008, when their entire crazy system almost imploded, who came to the rescue? These guys got bailouts from the government because they were too big to fail. Basically, they get to keep all the profits if their bets go the way they hoped. But if after taking on all this risk, they fail or things go wrong, who's on the hook? The taxpayer. The gains of Wall Street are private, but the losses are public. This couldn't happen if we had honest money. When these guys need a bailout, the Fed just cranks up the printing presses. You can't do that if you have to back your currency with metal. And you can't have Wall Street bailouts with honest money unless you have a lot of metal and you decide that this is the way that you want to spend it. But no one would ever go for that if you actually had to pony up some silver, some real money, to pay for your bailout program. So if you want an asset to squeeze that's really going to make Wall Street sweat, physical silver is it. And when you start stacking it up, you know you're helping to bring about a more honest financial system. You get the monetary system you settle for, and when you stack physical, you're casting a vote for honest money. If you liked this video, and you'd like to hear why I think the real SilverSqueeze will be in physical metal and not paper silver, then check out this video right here. And that wraps this video up. Thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. Smart Silver Stacker out.